Hey guys, this is Jadero, and today's tutorial can be done without whispering. Now I have the house to myself, so I am able to do a tutorial at a normal speaking level. Anyway, this is a special tutorial to me. It is for the beaded choker necklace. It is a combination of two designs created by Suzanne H-B, or Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram, which they are wonderful designs because they're so versatile, and Adele Griffiths on Instagram. Thought to put the two together and add some beads and make it into a choker necklace. So she did a wonderful job. Both of them did. Their links are below. So you must give them a follow if you're not already. One thing is you will need to have the Doodad design done before you start this tutorial. So let me put the camera back down. Okay, so the two designs that were mashed together is the Doodad bracelet, which is just this inner rope like look to the whole inside. So that will need to be done to the length that you prefer for your necklace. I did mine a tad, this one here I did a little bit bigger than my neckline, so it'll probably be probably on my collarbone. But whenever you create it, it's not going to shrink up, meaning, you know, you don't have to make it bigger, because whenever you add the bands, it's going to add tension. So whatever size you make it, it'll fit in the end. So that's this bracelet right here. And the next design is from this gold over, and it is, again, Suzanne H-B's Curlicue design, which gives it a beautiful, like a lacy edge. And believe it or not, that's a single chain. So they're two very, very simple designs. So it's not, this necklace doesn't take a lot of effort as to on the design behalf. It's just going to take a lot of effort because we're making it so big in order to be fitting for our neck. So the beads you will place every other band. So I know on this one here, I think I counted about 40. So you will need to have about 40 bands, thread about 40 beads, and maybe go from there. And for this one, I'm surprised I'm not too fond of. The colors that I chose were the medieval black, and this color here is it's the 600 pack dual layer. I believe this is the Persian white, I believe. And then again, the whole bottom is done in the Persian, or in the medieval black. I think that these, just in my opinion, that these are too thick of a band, so it doesn't give the effect that it's not a rubber band necklace, if that makes any sense. Adele, which you need to go on her account, you can see the first one that was created. She made two of them that they're posted. She used the is it the Persian black? It's the one with the gold outside, the gold layer on it, and she did that one and opaque black and layered it, and it looks beautiful. But this one was already completed. I wanted you to see a completed one, and I think again it kind of ruffles up a little bit because the bands are so thick. And I have to apologize because I have not done a band count, but it is a ton, especially if you're going to use the same color. I probably used a pack alone just in the medieval black. So you go ahead and get your supplies ready and make sure that you have the Doodad bracelet created long enough to your liking, and meet me back here and we'll get started. Okay, I had to start this part over, which I had a lot of my bracelet done already because all that I filmed was not focused. So I try to change my settings because I'm using all white, that it will kind of show up, so I'm hoping it's not too dark of a background. Alright, now that you have your Doodad bracelet the desired length to fit around your neck, we are going to start on the Curlicue part. And again, if you need specific direction on how to do this bracelet that Suzanne had made, please go to her YouTube channel and she will explain in great detail on how to add the bands. I'm not going to go into too much detail because our concern on this in this tutorial is just how to add the beads and the bands, meshing these two designs together. So as I mentioned before, all of my bands here are all of the pearl white bands, and then from here on out I'm going to switch every other with a glitter white and the pearl white color, as well as a beaded band. So what we're going to do first is we're going to stick our hook in the cap band. Okay, alright, so, and I'm sorry, I should have mentioned, out of the two sides, this one looking like a single chain, that's the back. So we want to have our doodad facing this way because we are going to loom every single one of these bands up the side. So I'm left-handed, I'm going to loom every one up the left side, therefore all of my beads and bands will be over here. If you're right-handed, you're going to grab all of these on the right side. So just do the opposite of what I'm doing. Or again, you can check out Suzanne's tutorial. So we're going to place a plain band through the cap band and reclaim. And then we're going to place another plain band through that one and reclaim. Okay, so we always have to make sure that our bracelet or our necklace is facing the right direction because we're going to be doing a lot of hook exchanging and whatnot. So I've already screwed up mine twice because I didn't have it pointed the correct way. So with it being pointed this way, we're going to go ahead and grab this first loop on the left, stick our hook in it, and then I'm simply just going to add a plain band through all three loops on the hook and recapture. So this is what it should look like. Alright, so here comes the beaded part. So in order for the bead to fall over on the side and be placed correctly, we need to flip our hook around and grab this next left band first. Okay, so I'm going to flip my hook around, take these two bands off my hook, and then grab this next band here first. So I want to make sure that these do not come apart. Okay, and then I'm going to grab that next in line left band. Anytime you add a bead, the left band of your doodad bracelet must be on your hook first. Then you go back and put on the plain band you just looped. Okay, so whenever I release, it kind of makes me flip my bracelet a little bit. Okay, so now it's kind of, it's the single chain, the back side of the doodad is facing me. Okay, so if this is the same as for you, you gotta watch what side's facing you at what step. So then we grab our beaded band, make sure that your bead is in the middle of it. You're going to place your hook in the left side or one side of the beaded band and simply slide all the bands that are on your hook up and over until you reach the bead. And they're all just going to be on this left side of this bead. Okay, so there is a little bit of tension because there isn't much room on the band, but now because we have our beaded band on, we need to flip our hook around to the original direction that we started. So I'm going to take my hook out, holding that, come back up here, stick my hook back through this side of the beaded band, and then recapture the part that we just took off our hook, which is the other side. Now I'm going to turn this back around, okay, because I want it facing in the original direction, which is with like the scaly look there. Alright, now the reason that we had to flip this back around is because the next band we place has to be a plain band. The only reason we flipped it was to get our bead on the left side so all of these bands would stay in place and then you didn't have to pull any bands over that bead. Alright, so with these two on our hook, we want to grab the next band in line and place that on our hook. So every time that you're going to add a plain band, the doodad band is going to be next to your hook. Okay? Alright, so let's take another band and slide all of the bands on our hook over like that. Okay, so because we just placed a regular band with no bead, it's time to place the band with the bead. So with that being said, we need to take our hook out and then grab this next in line on the doodad bracelet, and then stick your hook back in to the plain band on both ends, which in turn makes you flip your bracelet this way. Okay, now I can't emphasize enough for you to keep track on what side you're on your bracelet, because if you get mixed up, your beads will be crossed, and it was something that I didn't notice until I got like 5 or 6 down the road. Okay, so whenever the doodad band is on your hook first, you know you're placing a band or a beaded band. So let's grab that band, put it on our hook, and then we're going to slide all 3 loops up and over until you reach the bead. Okay, now we need to pinch this off because it's time to go back through and switch our hook. So I'm going to take this out, go up, grab this side of the beaded band. I'm going to kind of turn my wrist here and then stick my hook into the other side of the beaded band, which in right there makes you flip it right side up. Okay, so we are back in the starting position, and this is what you should have so far. Okay, alright, so now that we just added a beaded band, we need to add a plain band. So we go back and we grab the next loop in line, and then we grab another band and slide all 3 loops on our hook. Alright, so you can recapture this if you'd like, if you want to get a grab on it, but in reality we have to flip our hook, so it's up to you. going to pinch that to make sure I don't lose it. I'm going to turn my wrist. I want you to be able to see. And then we're grabbing the next doodad band in line, sliding that back a tad, and then recapturing that plain band that we just had on our hook. Like that. So then our bracelet is facing, the back is facing us. Another indicator, whenever you have your hook next to a bead, you know you're adding a beaded band as well. So again, slide all 3 bands up until you reach the bead, and then we need to switch our hook around again. Okay, so we go into the top part, go down, recapture that part, and then turn your bracelet back around to the original, like that. Okay, so now it is time to add a plain band. So we grab the next in line, like that, grab your band, and slide all 3 over top like that. Okay, I'm not going to recapture because I have to take my hook out, but I am going to hold this right here because that might slide out. Turn my wrist, grab the next doodad band, and then recapture the plain band like that, which in return makes you flip your necklace. Okay, so then I'm going to grab a beaded band, put that on my hook, and slide all of these bands on top until I reach the bead. I'm going to take my hook out, turn my wrist, grab the top of the beaded band, bottom of the beaded band, like so, which makes it right side out. So I hope it's not something that's hard to grasp. I had to follow, Adele sent me a flipogram, so I had to follow that, which was a little bit more challenging than the video, so I'm hoping that I'm doing okay trying to explain this. So as you can see, we're just grabbing every band on the left side of the doodad bracelet, and it's just a single chain all the way up. It's going to depend on what type of bands that you use, in my opinion, on whether or not it's going to go fast or slow. As I mentioned, this part took me forever and a day because I was using the medieval, and they were, because they're so sticky, they kept moving around and flipping, and so it was ugh. But these pearl whites, they do the same, but it's not as noticeable, you know, compared to the gray. And if you see me like wiggling my hook, that to me makes it easier. Like if I wiggle it, then if I have sticky bands, silicone bands, they seem to not flip. Or another thing is, if you pull on that beaded band, you can just slide it up and it won't turn your bands either. Alright, so then we're going to grab this and then turn our hook around like that. Alright, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. If you need any more assistance, you can rewind. But we have a lot of bracelet to do, or a lot of necklace to do here. So I'd like to get it done in a reasonable amount of time and not make this tutorial forever. you know, when you're like anything, if you find a simpler way that works for you, by all means, that's what you need to do. To me, that's all that really matters. You're following the steps correctly, but you know, like I said, if you find it better to use a double-sided hook or, you know, a different way to twist your bracelet or whatnot, by all means do it, because you've got a lot of looming to do on this one. And I'll tell you, by the way, I had just gotten in the new silk bands, and oh gosh, they are phenomenal. They look, feel, act just like the medievals and such, but they do not stick. So when you're going like this through your hook, you can go just as fast as if it was a silicone band. They are heavenly. I really like those. Another thing, make sure that you're grabbing every single one of these. It's very easy to skip one. I do like maybe 2 stitches, and then I stop and look back and make sure that I have everything correct, because I don't want to get done and then look back and see half of my bracelet is done incorrectly. Bracelet, I'm so used to doing a bracelet. Necklace. All right, so this is what you should have so far. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We added 6 beads with a plain band in between, and this will actually be the signature side with this nice track right here. I don't believe you couldn't wear it the opposite side. I mean, it's pretty this way too, but it might just be because that looks like a single chain stitch. To me, it's just as pretty. All right, guys, I'm confident that you got it and that you guys can move forward. You got a lot of stitching to do. So when you have your entire doodad bracelet completed with the beads, we'll meet back here and I will show you how to close it up and begin the last part of this necklace. All right, so this is what you should have with all of your beads on the outside ring, and we should be ready to close it up and start our last step. I apologize, it's totally different because I had to split up this tutorial at different times to do different steps. So the lighting is like seriously insanely bright right now, and then earlier it was insanely dark, so my apologies. Alright, so where I left off, gosh, there's so much light. If you can see there, it's my last bead. So after the last bead that I placed, there is this band, one more band, and then there is the band that we put our C-clip on. Okay? If you're not at this step, either, you know, move forward or back up. But if you are at this point, we're just going to add 2 more bands. Okay, like that, and then we're going to slip knot it like that, and take the remaining part of the band on our hook and stick that in the C-clip. Like that. Okay, so if you look, you have a little bit of like an edge over here, which should match the same on this side because we did not start with a bead, we started with a plain band. So then we end the same way. Alright, so let's get ready for our last step. Okay, this is, again, it's the same exact as the Curlicue tutorial. You are going to loom in every other band, and it's going to be our non-beaded bands because they are every other. And I'm going to just start looming and show you how, but if you need further instruction, again, please go and visit Suzanne's Curlicue tutorial. Okay, so I'm getting every other color I'm going to use again. Alright, so let's go down into the cap band again. So the cap band is over here. And pull through 2 single bands like that. Then, okay, so again, I'm left-handed, so all my beads will be on the left. If you're right-handed, you should be looming up like that. So we're going to take our hook, and if it's every other one, let's consider this being our first. We're going to go into that back left, slide our hook through, grab a band, stick it through the first 2 on our hook, and pull it back on the other side. Then we're going to take the top front left, put our hook through, take a band, put the first 2 on our hook, and put that back. Okay, so we have 4 loops on our hook. Take another band and capture all 4 onto this band. Okay, so that closes up that first section, and then we're going to add 2 single bands to this. So that's 1, and that's 2. Okay, so that chain right there is what's going to give us the space to go around the bead and start into the next one that we're going to work through. So again, you use every other band, which in our case comes up to be the plain bands. So we skip the bead and we go in and we grab the back band, put that on our hook, and slide a band through the first 2 loops. Come back, grab the first band on the left, grab a band, slide over the first 2 loops, place it back on our hook, and then grab another band, capturing all of the loops on the hook and closing it off like that. So there is your first enclosure of your bead, and that's what the rest of your bracelet is going to look like. So again, we add 2 single bands. Bracelet, I'm sorry. I need to say necklace. Okay, so make sure that you're going into the next plain band. Grab that back one. And then the front one. And just capturing the first 2 again. Then once there's 4, then you stick all of the loops through on that one. And then we do 2 chains. Like that. I really love these colors, so pretty. So, no matter what kind of bands you're using and what your taste is, you know, for instance, when I told you I was using the medieval bands, the silver, I really made sure that all of my bands were straight because we are looming the signature side. This is the side that would be showing when it's on your neck. So you want to make sure that, you know, everything is nice and neat. No bands overlapping, just things like that. Alright, I'll do one more with you. So our next one right here, grab that back. Pull through 2 bands, reattach, and then grab the front, pull through 2 bands, reattach. 4 loops means all of them get pulled through, reattach, and a single band, single band, complete. See, not much to it. So we're going to repeat that all the way up our necklace. If you need further instruction, you can rewind and look back, and if you are right-handed, you're simply grabbing the back right and the back right, and then the front right. Okay, so go ahead and finish up the last step, and if you want to wait, once you get to the end, you want to stop right there, and then we'll meet back and close up our choker necklace. Okay, this is my finished beaded choker. Here I'm complaining about the light, putting something black underneath, and I think it looks better on a white background. In my case, it came out exactly as I hoped. It really looks like lace and ruffles on the outside. So we still have to do one more stitch, and then we can close it up and then play around with it for a little bit. So let me put this down. Okay. I have to really apologize for the last take. I know the light was terrible, and never would have thought put the white background back on. Okay, so I had asked, oops, okay, so I had asked if you would stop, or if you wanted to follow me in closing it up, to loom all the way until the last bead on your necklace. So I did the last group, and then these are the 2 center or single chains. Okay, so typically our next step would go into the back left of the next band, right? I think what I'd like to do, I think actually Adele's plan was to go ahead and cap that, or slip knot it and stick it inside the cap band, but I'd like for mine to make sure that it reaches all the way around. So I'm just going to grab the inside, so you have your beaded band in the next one. Go ahead and just put your hook in between there, and then I'm going to grab another band and put all 4 on that band, and then it completely closes that off as it should. And then we can go ahead and slip knot that band and then stick this inside our C-clip. Yay, we're done! We are done! Oh, now you're going to hear me ooh and on. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. This would be a fabulous present, a gift. And I didn't even use any, I'm going to say technically specialty bands, because to me the white, yeah, it's the pearl white, but they're no different than the silicone band. So my point is, you can do this with any kind of band, okay, and still get the same outcome. So what I would like to do is I'm going to go down and I'm just going to kind of just make sure that there isn't any bands that are bunched up and not supposed to be. Just kind of go like this all the way down. Nothing I make comes out absolutely perfect, so I'm just happy that it actually looks presentable. There we go. And if yours kind of curls, it's okay. But I have this one side here, and I'm not sure why it bumps up. So I have something going on over there. Okay, so you know how to close it up. You're just taking that C-clip and putting it on your, taking that C-clip and putting it on the cap band. Look at that. Look at this, okay? Do you see that? There is a split in my cap band. You see that? That thing is going to tear off and all of this is going to fall apart. So, putting a clasp on the end would be ideal because it's so beautiful. You could put a jewelry clasp. That to me would be the best closure. So I'm going to stick my C-clip in for now into the one side of the cap band, and I choose not to use the other side because it has a hole in it. So I'm just going to find another band for this moment and stick. There we go. Gosh, Hail Mary full of grace, don't fall apart. You put a lot of work and effort into this stuff, you know? Okay, so I hope you are happy with yours. And if you see, like, I flipped this over, okay, all of my pearls are out more, and I see nothing wrong with wearing it on this side. I don't really think it matters. The only thing I see different is that this has this single chain look, and then the side has that other look, but otherwise it's just as beautiful on this side to me. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for suffering through my time zone changes and light changes and whatnot. please give credit to Adele Griffiths and Suzanne H-B on Instagram. They're the two that came up with this wonderful design, and Adele doing a mashup of the two is just genius. Make sure that you tag all three of us on Instagram with hashtag Beaded Choker Necklace. We'd love to see, oh gosh, I am very excited to see everybody's rendition. The colors and the kind of beads and hearing the stories, who gave them away for Christmas, and oh, that will be awesome. That I will look forward to. So, thank you again for watching, and until next time, let's bling it.